Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Zahra Yasmin and today my group and I will be presenting our topic, which is the dynamic of race and religion in Malaysian politics. I will be presenting the introduction. Malaysia is a multiracial country where people of different race and religions live together peacefully. Every community has its own traditions and values, which make Malaysia unique. However, racial and religious issues can still happen, especially when false information is spread on social media. These issues are often caused by a lack of communication, limited cultural awareness, and the irresponsible use of social media. If they are not managed properly, they can lead to misunderstandings, conflicts, and affect the harmony of our country. Therefore, it is important for everyone to respect each other's cultures and religions and avoid spreading false information so that we can maintain peace and unity in Malaysia.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Wafi. I will be presenting the theoretical framework for our study titled The Dynamics of Race and Religion Malaysian Politics and Analysis of Political Identity and International Integration. Our study is based on social identity theory developed by Henry Edgeworth and John Turner and supported by national integration. Firstly, social identity theory explains that people develop part of their through the social groups they belong to, such as their race, religions, or culture. The theory also states that people naturally divide themselves into in-groups and out-groups. This creates a stronger sense of belonging of their own group and could influence their attitude, behaviors, and political choice. In Malaysia, this theory is highly relevant because the country is made up of different ethnic and religious communities. Political parties often appeal to these identities to gain support from voters. As a result, many people tend to support parties that they believe represent their community interests. While this strengthens a group loyalty, it can also increase social divisions and make national unity more challenging. To complement this, we use national integration theory, which focuses on promoting unity among people from different ethnic and religious backgrounds. The theory emphasizes the importance of building a shared national identity while respecting cultural diversity. It also encourages mutual respect, equal opportunities, and cooperation among all citizens. By combining these two theories, our study provides a better understanding of how race and religion influence political identity and how these factors affect national integration and social cohesion in Malaysia. Thank you. That concludes my presentation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Shazwan Arif, and let's walk through this methodology breakdown that form our backbone for our research. So to start, we need to truly understand about the shifting dynamics of race and religion in Malaysian politics. Our research relies on a robust mixed method methodology that bridge structural data with deep human insights. First, we utilize a mixed method approach. We pair quantitative data from the Election Commission and Department of Statistics with qualitative tools like critical discourse analysis. This allows us to track macro voting patterns while decoding how the sensitive themes of race, religion, and royalty, the 3 Rs, are mobilized on platforms like TikTok and Facebook. Second, our framework is constructivist and historical. We don't view identity as static. Instead, we analyze how it is actively reshaped by political elites, tracing this evolution from the 1957 Merdeka social contract through to the institutionalized Islamization of 1980s. Finally, navigating the 3 Rs in Malaysia requires strict ethical risk management. Due to legal parameters like the Sedition Act, our methodology embeds rigorous protocol for participant anonymity and data security. Ultimately, this dual focus ensures our analysis of Malaysia's polarized political landscape remain objective, comprehensive, and contextually grounded. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Putri Nurjannah. So let's move on to our findings regarding the persistence of identity politics and the rhetoric of the 3R, which stands for race, religion, and royalty. Since independence, Malaysian politics has heavily relied on ethno-religious identity to secure votes rather than focusing on policy-driven or ideological agendas. What we observe here is a zero-sum game strategy. National issues are consistently reframed through the lens of community survival, conditioning voters to believe that the gains of another group means the absolute loss of their own. During GE15 and subsequent state polls, politicians aggressively weaponized this narrative on social media. They triggered fear by claiming Malay privilege will be stripped away, warning that Islam is under threat, and arguing that the royal institution is losing its dignity. Ultimately, this emotional mobilization proved to be the decisive factor in winning electoral seats. Now, to discuss why this happens, we have to look at our structural vulnerabilities. As illustrated by this iceberg analogy, the political tensions and 3R rhetoric we see during election seasons are just the visible tip above water. Beneath the surface lies a massive, unaddressed base of microaggressions and subtle discrimination in everyday interactions. This is deeply rooted in our historical footprint. Because Malaysia's political system structurally originated from race-based parties, Cultural differences are hardwired to easily transform into political conflicts. Whenever these social gaps and subtle discrimination are left unchecked, they create a fragile social fabric that politicians easily exploit for strategic gain when elections arrive. This continuous cycle of identity polarization directly cripples inclusive national visions, specifically undercutting concepts like bangsa Malaysia. While relying on 3R rhetoric is highly successful as a short-term electoral strategy, the long-term cost of governance is severe. It deepens racial divides, damages multi-ethnic harmony, and complicates objective national governance. Our next key finding focuses on the Greenwood phenomenon and how the electorate was mobilized during GE15. To understand this massive shift in behavior, we look at the Kelantan blueprint. For decades, conservative politics in Kelantan relied on a framing strategy that positioned PAS as the sole indigenous defender of Islamic traditions against corrupt external interlopers. In GE15, conservative leaders successfully replicated and scaled this regional model to a nationwide mission. They shifted the narrative from defending a single state to protecting the entire Malay Muslim majority. By reducing complex national issues into emotional, binary us versus them struggled for cultural survival. They didn't just lock down traditional rural strongholds, they successfully penetrated fiercely contested semi-urban parliamentary seats as well. When we analyze how this green wave expanded so rapidly, the discussion must turn to youth mobilization and digital strategy. The newly enfranchised indie acting cohort became a prime target, responding massively to identity branding over traditional politics. Campaigns strategically favored social media over substance. Instead of relying on complex economic policy papers or manifestos, politicians used short-form video content to broadcast emotional symbols and cultural message. They convinced young voters that their cultural and religious heritage was actively threatened by secular and progressive forces. This successfully reframed the civic act of voting into a vital, moral obligation to defend one's identity, resulting in an extraordinary, highly ununified consolidations of the ethno-religious vote.
So next, we look at a crucial finding in contemporary Malaysian politics, how youth voter realignment, economic anxiety and digital media are reshaping the electorate. Contrary to global trends where youth lean progressive, younger Malaysian voters empowered by Undi 18 are shifting towards conservative Islamist populism, facing graduate underemployment and inflation. Many use religious identity as a survival buffer. In fact, research show over 75% of youth undergraduates view a leader's face as a decisive voting factor. This shift is heavily accelerated by a new digital ecosystem. Right-wing political actors bypass mainstream media using TikTok, Reels and WhatsApp to deploy short-form video focuses on 3Rs, race, religion and royalty. This platform become echo chambers, rebranding structural economic anxieties into existential threats against identity. Ultimately, this combination of digital micro-targeting and economic precarity has locked in a defensive majoritarian stance among the new generation. This fractures Malaysia's traditional multi-ethnic alliances, leaving the political landscape deeply polarized.
Good morning everyone. For my part, this slide discusses the institutional of identity in Malaysia and how it influences politics and societies. First, institutionalized conflation refers to how the legal and constitutional framework closely associates Malay identity with Islam, creating a strong and unified Bumiputra political identity. Second, zero-sum dynamics suggest that policies such as new economic policy have sometimes led different communities to view socio-economic rather than as shared national development. Third, digital hyper-polarizations explain how social media and online platforms can amplify and increasing misunderstanding and divisions among the public. Finally, the governance friction occurs when these deeply rooted identity issues make it more difficult to implement inclusively and including initiatives such as Malaysian Madani. Thank you.
Our study shows that the aggressive 3R branding and the Greenwood phenomenon are not just short-term campaign tactics, they possess deep structural roots and anchor in malicious histories. However, the price of this polarization is heavy. Forcing a rigid us versus them narrative breeds every suspicions and directly stalls program in critical areas that matter most, such as institutional integrity, economic growth, and educational reform. To move forward and build a mature democracy, there must be a collective shift away from this divisive rhetoric. Political leaders, civil society, and especially the younger generations of voters must demand a new political landscape, one that prioritizes universal progress, shared national developments, and governance that benefits all Malaysians, regardless of their backgrounds.